Welcome to a Mick, a Mook, and a Mike.
Hosted by four-time Emmy-nominated producer
Frank Pace. And retired New York City firefighter, 9/11 first responder, and Vietnam vet, Billy O'Connor.
Today's guest, actor, chef, baker, and owner of Paul Cassell's Cookies, Paul Cassell.
My brother, what you eating?
I'm eating grapes and cheese. Grapes and cheese.
Did you get the Paul Cassell cookies?
No, I don't know. I haven't been home in 3 days.
Paul Cassell's our guest today. He's been starring Law and Order and a whole bunch of shows. Suddenly Susan, The Practice. Now he's also a professional baker. So he said there's all cookies. Derek, did you get yours?
Got my cookies. We ate them all.
Yeah, I'm all already, right? I looked at the pictures on Instagram. They looked absolutely incredible. What cook?
Yeah.
I mean, they look like they're not cookies. They look like art.
Art. Art who?
Art.
Art who?
Art Derriere.
Art Carney? We're going to ask Paul for some Christmas cookie tips because this is our Christmas show. So ho ho ho. So the economy. What's going on with the economy, Derek?
Oh, Frank, what are you trying to? You trying to hurt me here on the show?
No, I'm willing to find out from a guy who's.
Well, it's we're one of the first businesses to be affected when discretionary spending is affected, and we could literally track our business based on whether or not we are leading to a recession or in a recession, and I could track it back to a particular time, which I won't. But
Tariffs.
I don't. Tariffs is only affecting, or tariffs are only affecting people the importers, and I do import some stuff, and I will tell you that the idea that the revenue is being like the country is obtaining revenue from other countries via tariffs is complete hogwash.
Can't be.
Yeah, because if I buy something, let's just say I buy something from, I don't know, Vietnam or whatever, and the tariff is 20%, that country is not paying that tariff. I'm paying the tariff, and guess who has to pay the tariff after I pay it?
Me.
Exactly. Yeah. It's completely like I don't understand how people have this idea that this is actually a revenue driver. It's it's silliness.
Well,
So
it's
anyway.
just another huge tax on the poor to accelerate money to the top. I mean, he's taxing. The more he brags about $3 trillion, $2 trillion, he's just saying, I just screwed you out of $2 trillion more.
Yeah, and I don't, I can't really, I don't know. The money doesn't necessarily go to the top; it just goes to the government. And I guess at the end of the day,
Billy, are we interrupting your lunch?
I'm having a piece of cheese like a mouse, for Christ's sake. It's a piece of cheese. It wouldn't fill a cavity, Frank. It wouldn't fill a cavity.
Well,
take the keyboard off.
That's just what I was going to say. That's just what I was going to say. Oh my God!
I got some cheese on your keyboard. You need to get that off.
So the question to you, Derek: are we in a recession?
Yeah, we've been in a recession for quite a bit of time, because the definition of a recession, I think, is 2 consecutive quarters of down trending business, and that happened a long time ago. I think it happened sometime last year. So,
Well, I got to tell you, when I'm down in Ventura, when I'm down by the boat, there's a lot of fast food places around there, and I don't want to cook on the boat, so I go to Panda Express or something to get something to eat. And it used to be the place was packed on a Saturday.
Right.
Because there's a lot of migrant pickers down there. There's a lot of, Mexicans or South Americans or whatever.
You're Mexican. You said migrant. That's enough.
I got to tell you, those places are practically empty. They got to be dying, the retail businesses around wherever there are a lot of farms and stuff are. They got to be getting killed.
It's a controlled demolition of the American economy, and we lost 35% of small businesses during COVID, which is a tremendous amount of business, and they're projecting we're going to lose another 35%. So we think about that for a second. And what do you think? If I don't know if you guys have noticed, there's a significant increase in fast food restaurants in all around the country.
Yeah, because that's all people can afford.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have to tip. It's enough. That's 15-20% less they have to pay on the bill.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So that's my soapbox for the economy and the situation. But again, I'm happy that Trump won, because I think he's the best person to basically show us what's really happening.
I don't follow that sentence. What do you mean he's the best guy to show us what's really happening? What does that mean?
If somebody was going to break the system, it was going to be somebody like that.
Do you want the system broke?
Yeah, I do. I want people to know. I don't like what's happening, but I think people should be aware that we have people should just be aware of the way the system works. I'll just say that. So, I want to be careful how I speak on this, because I don't want my people to discern some weird idea around my political beliefs.
There's nothing to me. To me, there's nothing scarier than somebody who thinks he knows everything and knows nothing.
Yeah. I don't really. I just feel like I don't attribute any of this to him. No, you have to think about. Well, because he's not the one really doing it. He's just doing what he's told to do.
Who's they? Who's the they that's giving the orders? The 1%, the powers that be? Who is it?
Who owns? Okay, you ever looked at the majority stakeholders in the major companies around the country?
Do I know who they are individually? Can I name them? No.
Ever look at majority stakeholders in large companies?
Right.
Yeah, if you look at majority stakeholders in major companies around the country, all of them, you're going to see top 5 companies that essentially own every company. So, Frank's dying over there.
No, Frank's trying to. Frank's.
Paul is waiting in the waiting room. So
Okay, let him in. Let him in.
Bienvenido.
We know where he is. We know where he's coming from. There he is. Paul Cassell.
Wait, I got to get my wait.
Oh,
gotta wipe my mouth from the cookies I just ate.
Now I can hear you.
Oh,
I can
there
hear
he
you
is.
now.
There he is.
Great.
Paul Cassell, how you doing, pal?
I'm good, man. It's really nice to see you.
Yep, it's nice to be seen. That's
You
Billy O'Connor.
you were like a beacon for me. In
How
visits.
so?
Because of your stature. Yes.
Look at Derek. Derek thinks that's the funniest. Derek thinks that's the funniest thing.
Say it again.
Derek thinks that's the funniest thing he's ever heard. That's Billy O'Connor and Derek Harris.
Oh, Paul, nice to meet you,
Nice to
brother.
meet you both.
Amazing
Likewise,
cookies.
sir.
Amazing.
Yeah. I hear it every day. I hear it every day, and it never gets old.
They're unbelievable. It's like art.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
I'm just saying. I just want
wait
to
a
say
second.
hello.
You stopped him before he was going to tell how wonderful I am.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
I remember I was at Warner Brothers. I was walking to an audition, and this fancy car pulls up, and it's Frank. He rolls down the window. He goes, "You look depressed," and I was like, because my general stature usually is to my position is I focus downward. I always have when I'm concentrating. I said, "I'm concentrating. I'm trying to memorize my lines," and then he drove off, and I got the part.
Good.
Yeah. It was the part was for a depressed person.
Yeah. Well, no. Usually
Did they
I
shoot
don't
the
usually
scene
get
on
that.
a
I usually
ledge?
get the more.
Up on a ledge.
So Paul, you've been a very successful actor, and now you're a very successful I'm sure you're still. I know you're still acting, of course, but when I talk to young people today, I tell them have an alternate source of income, and you've
Yeah.
mastered that. Can you tell us?
Yeah. It's,
I'll go back to your acting
it,
career. Why don't you tell us about Paul Cassell Bakes first?
well, I mean, it's somewhat successful. It's not, but I would agree with that. And I used to, I still loathe the saying, have something to fall back on, because it's just negative. I would say to any young person that's trying to be an actor or anything in the arts, it is you are doing your chosen art a disservice if you are not creating a life for yourself with a stable income. You are setting yourself up for failure that way. So I always
Right.
try to look at it on the positive side, and I'm fortunate in that I've always cooked, and I've always been a baker. I've been a chef in a restaurant. I've been a private chef. So this was like a natural progression for me. I come from, my father grew up in the Depression. Um, where money was the bottom line, and I have to have an income, and the middle class actor is kind of that no longer exists. And some will come on your podcast and they say, yeah, it's tough, but I'm doing it, and I got this recurring here and there, and it's bullshit. There unless someone is a star, and even stars are broke, but I do not believe, it might sound like I'm trying to validate my own position. It's not. I mean, this is my truth, and I'm sure there are actors out there that are doing well, that are series regulars, but the middle class actor who used to make a good income on commercials, guest star, and recurring, and maybe an independent film or two, or so, that's gone. That's absolutely gone. And any actor that tells you, yeah, I'm making a living, I mean, I could pitch a tent in Balboa Park and live off my pension and my residuals and call myself a working actor. And it's it's also, it's like whatever your truth is dependent on what your situation is. And it's like, I have uh two teenage boys, I have a mortgage, so that instantly makes me a less successful actor, and makes me a more successful person, but a less successful actor than my bachelor actor friends who can just do whatever job and make it look like they're, making a living.
Well, I say have an alternate source of income. I'm not talking about having something to fall back on. I'm talking about have an
Yeah,
alternate source of income to supplement your
absolutely.
income, like you're saying. Because if
Yeah,
you there is, I agree with you. There's no such thing as a middle class actor. Uh,
yeah,
and I used to wonder how some people made money as a guest star, because the guest star rates now are only $5,000 an episode for a half an hour comedy. So how many times do you have to work, in a
yeah,
situation comedy to make a living? I mean, now, even if it is $7,500 for a guest appearance in a 1 hour show, that's $7,500 gross. So
yeah,
it,
yeah.
it, it's got to add up. It's got to add up. But why don't you take me back to New York and how you got started and interested in the arts, and tell us a little about your career path.
I started doing plays when I was 8, and I continued doing that all through high school. And I did Board of Education summer theater in Stamford, Connecticut, and I got rejected from 5 colleges in 2.5 weeks that I applied to academically, and I had auditioned for Boston University, and I got into their program, and they took 75 out of 1,500 applicants, and I did that. It's like, the best part of that was being on stage all the time. I would not advise a young person necessarily to do a university training program, because I think so much of it is such frankly, a waste of time. But it definitely got me working, and went to New York in 1989. I had gotten Levi's 501 commercial a day after graduating college. I was like, come on, yeah, like this is great, bring it on, you know. And but I started waiting tables, and joined a couple theater companies and started studying with Win Handman, who is to this day the most incredible mentor, and just an incredible teacher and theater producer and director. I did my first equity play with Jerry Stiller and Estelle Harris, who were the parents on Seinfeld.
Right.
Um, and that got me a big agent APA. And when I got signed to APA, I came to LA almost immediately because I was like, "Oh, this is great, a bi-coastal agency," and and I started working here immediately. Initially in sitcoms. I think I had one 5-month period where I got
Everything
every
you went out
audition
for?
that I auditioned for. Yes.
Wow. How many auditions did you have?
That was like, the combination of being young and that time. It was, 3 to 5 a week. I mean, it was at some, in some slots of time, and there was never a period where I felt like it was slow. I went to the ball game with Tony Sepulveda the other day,
Oh,
who's
did you?
still, and yeah, he's VP casting at Warner Brothers,
Yeah,
and he's our friend.
He's been a guest on our podcast.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, yeah. He was the one actually who cast me on the show that Frank produced, and that's how I met Frank. So I'm very grateful to Tony. But he said that was our heyday. That time in the 90s was our heyday, and we didn't even know it.
Mm,
And that
wow.
was kind of bittersweet hearing that from him.
Yeah.
And then, I've been here basically since 1996, and the the inconsistency of the work is something that we as actors all um deal with. But at a certain point, it's like, you gotta Frank is absolutely right. You have to have an alternate income stream. And I've always been cooking. I was executive chef in a restaurant in Los Feliz. At the same time, I was like doing private parties for usually actors who were more successful than me. Some studio executives. I did Judd Apatow and
Mm,
Jeff Robinoff, and some other people, Adam Goodman from Paramount. Um, and that was always interesting because I'd sit down with a client and say, listen, I would be very transparent. I'm an actor. There may be people at your party that I know. And I just want you to be okay with that, because it's like, I don't know, if I was having a big party, I would want the chef to be some actor jerk who was going to leave, the next day to go do a show. And sure enough, I remember the one, I think it was Jeff Robinoff's house. I was doing a reading for the at Shutters the next morning for a movie called Just Like Heaven, and he heard about that from another guest at the party, um, and it was an absolutely great dinner party. But he never called me again.
well, that's
But it's fine. I mean, it's like there's I think there's a long history of art. This is what my podcast is about. It's about artists that do something else to fulfill their artistic drive when they're not working in, as an actor or whatever. And I think Danny Kaye was like an incredible chef. And I think about Viggo Mortensen as a painter, and Jim Carrey as a painter, Brad Pitt as a sculptor,
Nick
Ellen
Offerman, a
DeGeneres is flipping
woodworker.
houses, So I'm inspired by all those stories. That it's not to minimize acting and performing at all. It's just adding another layer of creativity, because we are beholden to so many other people to be allowed to do what we do, and because it is a collaboration, and that because of that, even if you're super successful, you have to wait, a while to do a job. And so I just, I'm just never someone who I have a sort of a working class work ethic, and I just do not like sitting around. I think that's a very
When
a little too luxurious.
I had dinner last night with Steve Peterman and his wife. You know Steve, right?
With Peterman last night.
Yeah.
Oh
Yep.
my God! I just texted him. I told him I was doing your podcast.
he said I knew. He
Yeah.
said, how'd you meet Steven?
From Suddenly Susan.
Oh, so you met him at the same time you met me?
Yes.
Because you did a number of Suddenly Susans.
Yeah, and to this day, it's like some of the most fun I've ever had on a show. It really was. It was incredible. It was like an incredible time where I remember like I was like sleeping on my brother's floor on Poinsettia Place in Hollywood, and then going to rehearse the show, and then with such wonderful people, really, and the lead sets the tone, and everyone from the top down was so amazing, and then like going to the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf afterwards for an iced blended, and then seeing all these sort of pretentious people in like full makeup, all these wannabes. And I had just experienced like, working with people that were so down to earth and really, really great. The contrast was profound. And it's something that I think about a lot in my life in LA, and sort of set the tone for what the kind of people that I wanted to be around as an artist.
Yeah, I mean, you said that the lead sets the tone for the show. Well, Brooke was magnificent in that. She was so down to earth and such a good
Yes.
person, and still is.
Yes.
So
and so not a narcissist, which is like what kind of, as I've gotten older, really, I can't tolerate it. There's so much of it, especially with the growth of social media, the the narcissism. It's just it's as I've gotten older, it's just less and less acceptable.
So after your early successes, what happened as you got into the 2000s with your career?
Well, the work, everyone, no, I think no one is ready for it, but unless you become a superstar in your 20s, the work gets less and less. Or, sometimes it's just a natural, it's not bad. It doesn't mean you're a bad actor or anything. It's less. And so I've always, wanted to supplement my income with the cooking or baking. And so this happened. And then I started the baking in like, I think, as a business, 2023.
2023.
So I mean, the cookies are fabulous. Derek
Thank you,
said
sir.
he's eaten them all. I think that was the best oatmeal raisin cookie I've ever eaten.
Well, I mean, oh man,
you have a point there. Yes.
Yeah. I think it is the actor in me that I'm like, whenever someone, I get this validation, it's like, oh, fantastic. It is, and it's something that cooking and baking has that the arts don't really have, or, acting and film and television. It's like you do a great job in a film and they're moving on, or on a TV show. It's like, oh, they got it. They got the scene. They're going to go move on to the next. And you did a great job if they've moved on and, no one's yelling at you. With cookies, it's like sometimes the person's right in front of me and I can see it on their face. And I was just saying this last night. I was just seeing this last night, like that everyone's a professional with cookies. Like there's no one who doesn't know about cookies.
Yep.
There's no one that doesn't have a favorite cookie. And I like to say that it brings out the child that the person once was and the child they still are. It's, and it's incredibly gratifying. And it's just like another
It's immediate, the
creative.
gratification.
Yes, immediate, exactly, for both people, for both me and the person who has, has the cookie. So
So
um,
what was in it? What was in that oatmeal raisin cookie that I'd never tasted before? Was it molasses or there was something in there that I had never tasted that really made it terrific?
I think it's more like amounts. There's like more cinnamon, more nutmeg, and yeah, it's pretty basic recipe. But
Yeah, Frank,
someone always people
you
they'll
can't
ask
give
me
up.
like, what's different about yours? And I say, well, because I made it.
So where do you make the cookies? Do you have a store or a shop, or just make them in the kitchen and ship them out?
He's like right
Well,
there.
this is
They-
one of my, yeah, like I've got a couple rooms in my house, much to my wife's chagrin. I'm about at capacity here at the house. I have a cottage license, which makes it all legal. But I'm like almost at capacity where I need employees and I need more space. I burn my
Well,
arms on the racks because I have less space here, and I'm making about 3 or 4 thousand cookies a month, and 30 or 40 cakes per month for a couple different restaurants. So
Wow.
my wholesale business is right now the bulk of my business, even though I ship all over the country. But the wholesale is the volume is fantastic.
and your site is paulcassellbakes.com?
Yes. Yeah.
How do you spell Paul Cassell?
Cassell.
Paul with a preceded by a Paul. Paul
Yeah,
Cassell.
yeah, I had to use my name, so it better
Bakes.com.
be good. Yeah. PaulCassellBakes.com.
It is.
So
Yeah.
So what are your hopes for the business?
I'm talking to a consumer packaged goods guy right now to get me in front of the people at Gelson's. I think supermarkets are my next move. Before I didn't really know what that kind of volume looks like. They've got 27 stores in Southern California. But that's my next. I knew that I would never kind of get rich with this, working out of my home. But I know what it looks like to get to the next level now, and so I'm really trying hard to. It's difficult because I don't have any kind of more successful cookie company that's taken me under their wing to show me the ropes, to show me all the tricks so that I can get as big as they are and then take them over. There's really no one is really interested in doing that. So I have had to learn everything. What's that?
They want to bury you. They don't want to help you.
Yeah, that's right. No one wants to help. So that aspect of it has been torturous. It's really like learning as I go, making my own mistakes, figuring stuff out, and but at the same time, it's very satisfying because I'm at a level now where I am producing a lot of product, and it's just me. Maybe sometimes I'll get my 13-year-old in here, but it's usually just me. And
Well,
I'm proud.
Making 4,000 cookies and how many cakes per month yourself?
Like 30 or 40.
Wow.
It's crazy. And initially I told these places that I didn't want to do cakes because the core of my business is cookies and bars, but I also feel grateful to them for bringing me so much business, and I'm happy that they all like my baking so much. Their customers ask for my stuff, so I try to make it happen as much as I can.
Yeah.
What's the
Paul,
most
the
distribution,
cakes are.
Paul?
What's that?
How do you? What's most of your distribution? Is it online? Is it like in local stores, or is it?
Yeah, most of my distribution is local cafes and coffee places around mostly the Valley. I have a place in Los Feliz, the Los Feliz section of Los Angeles, and Studio City, Sherman Oaks, Agora Hills. I have interest from some places in Venice right now, so it's tough because unless I get a friend to deliver for me, I'm doing all the deliveries as well. I get up at 4 a.m. and either complete the baking or from the night before, or do all the baking from 4 to 6 and then go out and do all the deliveries. It's the margins are less with wholesale, obviously, but the volume is there.
So if you get into grocery stores, do you have to slot to get space, shelf space? You know what slotting is?
Yes, that's the whole thing, and it's ultra competitive, and you got to make sure that there's less in-store competition. I had my stuff at a grocery store in Malibu, and they had all like machine-made cookies all around mine, and it wasn't really the greatest because it was like, the people are grabbing 8 cookies for cheap compared to mine on the way to the beach. It wasn't the right fit.
Right.
But yeah, the whole thing with shelf space and in-store marketing, and you have to create a case to hold your product to put that on the shelf. I'm learning a lot.
Yeah, and your packaging is terrific. It's terrific packaging. I mean,
thank you. Done by an actor who went to Rhode Island School of Design and is a graphic artist on the side.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's more and more people. How did you come about getting Courtney Cox's endorsement?
Oh, yeah. We had I have a mutual friend, Mary, who was she asked me for some stuff for Thanksgiving a few years ago, and I didn't know where she was going, so I baked a bunch of stuff for her for Thanksgiving, some pies, cake, and I sent her with a bunch of cookie dough balls that anyone who was helping out at the party could bake and then serve. And I didn't. It was Courtney's house. She had become really good friends with Courtney Cox, and so Courtney was freaking out on the cookies. She said, "This is the best fucking cookie I've ever had," and then she started texting me wanting to do a video tutorial at her house, and then I saw her at a party a little while later, and she said, I said, well, I'm starting a business. And she goes, well, I'm going to promote the shit out of it. And then she was bugging me for 6 months to do this video. And I was waiting until I got my website up. I wanted to get all my ducks in a row. So I got my website up, my packaging and all that before, because I know she's got like 10.7 million followers. So I wanted to be ready. I didn't want to put myself in a position where I wasn't ready, and then all this time I'm like, she's having dinner parties once every 2 weeks. And I'm dropping off stuff to her. So it's like she's been a great client, and she's absolutely lovely. So, and that's how it started. And we did the video, and I was just texting her the other day. She's directing a movie in New Jersey, but she wants to do another video when she gets back.
Well, when she drops that on a 10.7 million, you better be ready to do 30 cakes a day.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting. Like, I did that video with Courtney and I got some orders. Friend of mine is on the Real Housewives of Orange County, and and she opened up my cookies on her Instagram. That got a bunch of orders. But then this influencer, my friend said, you should send cookies to this guy. He's a hair colorist, but he's an influencer. And he has less followers than the other two. And he opened up the cookies on Instagram, and my phone started blowing up for 24 to 36 hours. My phone was like, I don't know if you watched The Bear, where they get all those tickets. Like, it was like that for 24 hours. Crazy. Wow. I had to process 79 orders, 1,300 cookies, 79 orders going out all in the same 36 hours all over the country.
That's incredible.
So it sounds crazy. Marcia K, hard to pushing it on Instagram, pushing your cookies. My wife thought they weren't cookies. She said, this is art. This is art. This is not cookies. It'd be great if you had like a shot of, so our audience can see what we're talking about here. This ain't cookies. This is like, it is art.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, you can go to
That's
paulcassellbakes.com
Yeah.
and see for yourself
It's
and order some cookies as well.
Thank you. It's a tough, like I did not know that when I started a business, I would have to be a content creator, and like do all these Instagram posts, but it's kind of like, it kind of goes with it. And it's a necessary marketing tool.
Yeah, and you're an actor, so it's probably slightly easier for.
Yeah.
Paul, who in your acting career, which actors have you worked with that you like the best?
Besides
4.
Brooke, and I've worked with Kathy Bates twice, and she is absolutely fantastic, incredible, makes your job easy. Same thing for Edie Falco. I got this guest star on. It was a Dick Wolf Law and Order Menendez, and between my auditioning for the role, and it was as a shrink, a Kitty Menendez psychiatrist, and between me getting the part and getting cast in the part, they reduced the part to a co-star, small, and I don't usually do that kind of smaller job, and I was like, whatever, it's with Edie Falco, I'm going to do it. And it turned out to be like an amazing, incredible scene. And, it's on my demo reel. It's like, she's fantastic. People like that are really, they're doing half your job for you because they're so damn good.
Right.
How has the industry changed for you since COVID? As an actor?
A lot of people, they, in addition to there being less work, the audition process, because of what COVID created, it created a situation where you're taping auditions yourself and then sending them in, and that has not changed because casting directors saw that they did not have to rent as much office space, and they kept their overhead much lower. And having actors create all their auditions at home. I actually don't mind it. I actually love, having that element of control in my audition. But what is missing in a huge way, to the detriment of the business, is the in-person meeting where you are seeing the show creators and you're in the same room with. I grew up in theater. So that going into a room with 10 or 12 people for a network test, that would energize me. That was like that's where I was the most, comfortable. And it's an amazing experience because you're with all these artists and they all want you to do great. I think that there will always be a hunger for acting, for great writing and great performance. I think no matter what happens to our culture, that's always going to be the case. So I tend to look at it optimistically, and I think it's also important to constantly stay creative. I'm in a writing class. I've been in a writing group since 2014. We all perform each other's writing, and it is a great way to stay alive artistically. I cannot, and I look forward to that every time we get together. And what has helped me, and everyone's different, but what has helped me is I have zero expectation, positively or negatively. I'm living in the moment. So, I get like a couple, great roles on a TV show or a film, and this is momentum now. I don't do that. I have zero expectation about what is going to come from that, negatively or positively. And that way, what is that saying? Is the expectation is the first step to leading to disappointment, and keep staying in the moment keeps me positive rather than being depressed about a business that is having such sort of, I don't know if growing pains is the right word, but it's going through something now. My manager, who's been doing it 40 years, said to a friend of mine who's also her client the other day, she said, I've never seen it this bad, in terms of lack of production, or, it's also production now is worldwide, and LA is no longer the center of entertainment in terms of location. So it's very difficult. Like, there's producers looking at Iceland to shoot shows.
Yep. Yep.
Well, if Frank could speak to that about like budgets and everything. It's completely understandable.
I'm faced with it all the time. I'm doing 3 budgets now, and not one of them is for the States.
Wow.
There's 2.
Yeah, it's like
2 in
that's
Vancouver and 1 in Montreal.
Right.
So, is that because of unions and stuff, Frank? They pushed out LA and New York. Is it because more expensive?
Well, it's more expensive to shoot in Los Angeles because, number one, unions are a big factor. But besides from the unions and the union increases, there's no up until last year, there hasn't been any financial incentive to shoot in Los Angeles. Now, they're giving maybe $100 million to some production companies, but $100 million can be gone with one movie. So how far can that go? But also, Vancouver gives great incentives. London gives great incentives. Montreal gives great incentives. So you take those incentives, take that incentive money, and then the value of the dollar, every $1 American spends like 75 cents in Canada. So you get that discount on top of the financial incentive. It makes a difference. So let me ask you, Paul, with your business now, suppose you were offered a movie that would take you away for 6 months away from the business. What would you do?
Well,
I mean, of course, let's say they were going to pay you $200,000 to go away for 6 months. You'd probably have to take it, right? Or would you?
It's a very tough question to answer. Like, I've got 2 boys that are 13 and 16. So this is an incredibly important time for me to be around. Even if Steven Spielberg were to call me, like, I don't know. Like, and I don't know. I think, I just auditioned for a movie that'll be in Atlanta for a period of time in January. And I'm hoping to get it because I don't think my role will shoot that long. I feel like I've made such an investment in this business. I cannot drop everything. It would have to be really good. It would have to be like a Frank Pace production or Steven Spielberg.
You wouldn't want that. You wouldn't want that.
Right.
Oh, come on.
But you bring up an important that is what the resistance has been for so long, for so many actors, including myself, to like, get another job. It's like, well, what if I get, there's always these excuses of like what the potential of.
Right.
People think that it's like the nail on the coffin of their acting career if they if they start something else that actually requires more responsibility than waiting tables. That actually had, I understand that, but I'm like, I think everything will work out.
So what new products, how are you going to expand your baking line? More cookies,
again,
more cake? How are you going to expand your baking line? More cookies, more cakes, more pies?
Well, it's the core of the business is cookies. I have I recently bought an extruder that pushes the dough out, and then a guillotine comes down, cuts it, and it hits a conveyor belt and goes down. And if I tell my wife that I'm having a hard day, and she'll send me that meme of I Love Lucy with the bonbons, I get furious because it's accurate. It's just more volume, and for more volume, I need a bigger space. I need a walk-in refrigerator. I don't have a walk-in refrigerator. I need a bigger extruder, and I need employees. So that's what it looks like. As the cookies get more and more successful, the cakes will fall away because that's really sort of I make every cake like it's my best friend's birthday, so it's not really a big money maker for me. It's too time consuming.
That's great. What other questions do you have, Derek? Billy?
Billy? I got something. Okay, so you have a
Yeah.
podcast. You're basically. You said your podcast is about actors and the other talents and the other jobs that they do on the side. Is
Yeah.
that true, or something like that? Yes.
My
Okay.
podcast?
Yes.
Yes, it is about how actors fulfill their whatever artistic, whatever they need. Some actors need to do something else because they've been working so much.
Got it.
And
Okay.
I think that's probably why Jim Carrey paints. And then other people, agents and managers will lead you to believe even a very successful actor is working they're working 17-hour days. They're working 6 days a week for months on end. And it's absolute bullshit. That's what they want you to believe because no one wants to believe no actor wants people to think that they have this sort of luxurious life where they, work a couple days, they make, $55,000 an episode and, but that's really what it is a lot of the time. And that's fine financially for those very successful actors, but that's a lot of time that they are spending. And financial worries aside, if they don't have that, they still want to be doing something. I was talking about the podcast with Bill Macy, William H. Macy. And because I said, because pretty much everything about acting has already been said, right? Like, it doesn't matter what the show is. You do your press junket, and it's kind of the same questions. So I'm saying this. He pulls out his phone and shows me a 2,200 square foot wood shop with every tool imaginable and the most beautiful woodwork you've ever seen, including a bridge he made for his wife going over a stream on his property. And, it's like Harrison Ford was a master woodworker. He's carpenter. And he was a reader for George Lucas because he was working on The Office. I think there's a long history of that. And I'm just fascinated with what our actors do. And also I would be interested in, I want to talk to executives about what are they doing to, fuel themselves creatively, in their spare time. It's called Downtime with Paul Cassell.
Okay. Who surprised you? Like, what actor surprised you with their, in terms of their most talented or most interesting extracurricular outside of the guy you just mentioned?
Well, then, no, those are the ones. I mean, I have other ones. It's no one is really, it's within what each person does. None of it is spectacular. It's not really about that. It's not about an achievement that is an alternate achievement, necessarily. They could be kind of bad at it. But it is whatever they do to.
I tell you, Jack Lemmon once was asked, somebody said, you've had a 40-year career. What's it been like for you to work all the time? He said, let me tell you something. In my 40 years, I made 40 movies. Now that sounds like a lot. Each of those movies took 3 months. So effectively, that means I've been unemployed for 30 years.
This is exactly my point. I just saw a thing with Rod Stewart. It was like, videos come up on Facebook. There was this portion of this interview with him talking about model trains. Okay. And he has apparently one of the most spectacular model train sets in the world. And he takes these trains and hand paints them in his hotel room while he's on tour before he goes on. And he does that all day. And the guys at the model train store, he's not Rod Stewart, superstar, rock star. he's Rod Stewart, master model train painter.
Right.
And that it just blows me away. And there's so many stories like that, and I want to find as many of them as possible, because this is, listen, the acting is a distant second to being a parent, and I'm not saying that to be like a goody two shoes or anything. It's just the truth. And then the baking is in some ways more gratifying, in some ways just as gratifying as the acting, and it's I think people's acting careers, like you were saying about Jack Lemmon, it's like it's cumulative, and after a while, it doesn't come. It's not boring. But it's, I think, said actor on West Wing said, it's like batting
Marty Sheen?
practice.
Oh, yeah.
No, the younger one, the Juilliard guy. He said it's like batting practice, and I totally get that. It's like it is, and I dive into every role with enthusiasm and heart, and I absolutely love it. But you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't see it as something other than batting practice. You have to be level-headed, and that way you are an open vessel for whatever the writing is. If you're like bouncing off the walls, it's not good. It doesn't look good.
Yep. And can I tell you, nothing is worse than a desperate actor in an audition.
Oh my God! And it's,
you can smell the hunger, huh?
Yeah. I think it
What
was
do you
Naomi
guys think,
Watts.
both of you guys? What do you think the percentages of actors that make it like as a single occupation? That's it. Wild ballpark figure: 10%, 5%, 2%, 20%.
1/10 of 1%.
I can tell you, in the Screen Actors Guild, you need to make about $40,000 to qualify for benefits, and probably 15% of them make even $40,000. Screen Actor members.
But I don't know about you. Like, everyone's, like I said at the beginning, everyone's got a different situation. Rawlings, when I'm trying to buy a new baseball glove for my kid, it's like they don't care about, like, the prices are the prices, and the prices of your mortgage and your living expenses. I think that's it's not a set in stone number. There's no number that is like, oh, this person's making a living. And like, what does that actually mean? Because it's not really a good living, and it's not a dependable living anymore. Back in the day when you could be signed on to a studio, that's a different story.
Yeah. Especially in Los Angeles, too.
It's incredibly expensive. And but I hand it to anyone who does it. I mean, it's an incredible achievement just to be working.
Well, I'll tell our audience one more time. If you need to send Christmas gifts, paulcassellbakes.com. And
Thanks, Frank.
You can send them out of the state. That's better than if Paul doesn't have to deliver them himself.
And they ain't just cookies, pal. Let me tell you, they ain't just cookies. They're really amazing. They're like a work of art. They're incredible.
Yeah, thank you.
And you can tell the love that goes into them.
Thank you so much,
sure. All right, Val. That'll just about do it, don't you think? Derek, Billy, anything else
nice
to say?
meeting you, Paul. Thanks for coming on, man. Really nice to meet you.
Likewise. Thank you guys so much for having me. This is this is so great. And it's so great to see Frank.
Smile
I'm
and face
inspired.
yourself. Inspired. Yes. Don't say it, Derek. Don't say it.